See, it looks like I gotta adjust this a little. So you may have noticed, and maybe you don't have too much to compare to, but the way that this is taught, this Qigong is taught for really kind of for people who think too much. And I'm assuming that's you because you're educated in America, you're modern people. And we've been trained since very early, we've been trained to pay a lot of attention to our thinking. In China, a lot of this is taught without speech. It's just imitation. And that works a little bit for Westerners, but not all the time, by a long shot. So today we're going to expand our sense, as we always do, expand our sense of body. So one way in Buddhism that the body is discussed is the five skandhas, or the six sense realms. So the six sense realms are the ones we know, the five that we know. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, those are the five senses. And the Buddhists add a sixth one, which is mental activity. So the brain is a perceiver or an organ like the eye is. The eye is the organ of sight, the ear is the organ of hearing, the brain's the organ of what we would call thinking or mental activity. So those are the six senses. And in Buddhist teaching, it takes a lot of practice to get into the pure sensation, that is, without commentary. Okay? So if the sensation is pleasurable, oh, I really love this, is great, oh, I really want this to keep going, oh, I had this, this whole commentary about it. If you're looking at a tree, your mind is comparing it to all the trees you've seen, and you're remembering, what happened under that tree, or you're identifying it, or you're noticing details. That all of our senses are clothed, they're clad in this mental commentary. It's called perception. In Buddhism, it's called perception. So in order to be more present to the senses, the commentary has to become quiet so that we can just perceive. And once we can get into what they call the pure sensation of just seeing, just hearing, then that's when all of this arises in consciousness, because all senses do arise in consciousness. Without consciousness, there's no senses, so they don't work. So when in Qigong, we're asked to not only move into the pure sensation, which is what we can do. So let's go into cloud hands here. And we're not doing this quite so automatically as the Tai Chi twist. Now there's some pure sensation here because it's flowing, because we can feel it. And as we've talked about, feeling is the deepest sensation. It's the most ancient. And it's the one that's least prone to commentary. It's just this felt sense of moving, we're moving through space. Okay? Then there's a relaxation as we just give ourselves over to the movement. And the thinking quiets down, the commentary quiets down. It's just this moving body. Now go ahead and expand. Just expand the movement, let it become free. Okay, now let's put our consciousness, put our awareness in our hands. Just focus on the sensations in the hands. Okay, and then move it somewhere else, like the feet or the hips, or so just play around with mixing your consciousness with the movement intentionally. Let the movement become free and open. Add awareness of breath. So can you see how the sensations are arising in consciousness? And consciousness is arising in the sensations. Our hands are conscious. Our body, our hips, our movement. The whole body is conscious. Okay? Now let's extend it a little now beyond the body so that we're aware of the space around the body. So there's this sort of aura of consciousness all around, behind, above. Let the movement get very free and sort of just fill that whole space around the body. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Okay. Okay, very good. And come back to heart and belly. And then standing. So let's fill the whole body with consciousness, the fusion. We've done this many times, like a sponge filling with water. Suffuse the whole body, so you're just feeling the whole body all at once. And the nature of that feeling is kind of tingling and warmth. That's how we feel it. And then extend that out around the body a little bit. Okay, very good. And now let's extend it down into the ground. So we're going to sort of grow roots and feel that. What does it feel like to grow roots down into the earth? Not imagine. It's okay to imagine, but also to feel it. What would it feel like? We're extending our feeling, we're extending our sensation down into the earth with our consciousness. Okay, like a tree. Just keep expanding it out and down. Okay, good. And now let's do tree in spring. Okay, So dip the knees, point down, way down into the roots. In breath, up. So bring the attention up now. Bringing it up, 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 up. Out the top, and extending it. What would it be like to extend it out? What would it feel like? All around. What would it feel like if the whole space around the body was conscious? Okay, and let's repeat. So pointing down, this goes down to the roots, down, bringing up, in breath, bringing the attention up, 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 up. Look up, out the top, send it out, extend as far as you want. There's no boundary to the body now. Okay, and one more time. Down into the earth. Okay, and in breath. Up the trunk, tree and spring. Out breath, express, radiate like the sun. Okay, and then back to standing. And now just be with it all. So the roots are down there, and the body, and then all around and way up. Okay, so this is the body. The body is not bounded by the physical form when it's imbued with consciousness. It's boundless. Okay, how is this possible? Well, the body's made of the earth, right? There's no separation. Totally made of the earth. And then consciousness is formless, right? So it can take any form. It can be anywhere and everywhere. It's spaceless, timeless, formless. Then when you mix these two together, there's boundlessness. Okay. So let's just relax our stance a little. So very important to have an expanded sense of the body, because the body is our perceptor of reality. And if everything is focused on just this separate body and just this separate being, we're missing out on everything else. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and bow to the directions. And so when we're doing this, we're extending our consciousness to the east and bringing it back. Okay, and then to the south. And to the west. And to the north. And then extending it up through the sky, way up. And down into the roots. So we very much want to be in our senses. We want to be in our body. We feel it. We know it's here because we can feel it, see it. And we know that we, whatever we are, this consciousness is not bounded by this. Definitely here, perceive it. But the error in thinking is that it's only here. And it's in Qigong, it's boundless. So this is very useful when we die and we don't have the physical body anymore. Very, very useful. Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring up our stool. And we'll do a sitting. We'll return to standing. But okay, so I'll ask you to mute. So the way this is taught, and what we're going to go through this is, so we have the six senses, the six sense doors, the six sense organs. We're familiar with that. Okay, and that's a way to define the body. Now, all of those senses arise and are perceived by the brain, by consciousness, by the mind. So the entire body awareness, which is the awareness of all the reality around us, arises in consciousness. Okay? Now, let's go a step deeper from the senses. And these are the six elements. We're just going to transfer the senses into elements, okay? So sitting here, okay, with the out breath, let's drop our attention down the body. And just focus on the element of earth. So the qualities of earth: solidity, stability, steadiness. And we know that this body is made entirely of the earth. Comes from the earth, returns to the earth all the time. Now the earth element in the body, let's just sense the bones. Sense the skeleton. You can imagine it. You can feel it. It's the structure. And it's expressed in the upright posture. Okay, so body we're defining the body now in an expanded way. So body is the earth. Earth is the body. No separation. Can't take one away from the other. Okay. And now let's move into water. Okay, the quality of water is fluidity. Flexibility. And just sense the water, kind of the heaviness inside the body, in the mouth, eyes. And where the water come from? Well, creeks, rivers, rain, clouds, snow. So the body is water, which is not separate from earth. Okay, so this body is made up of water. It's a little tiny part of the water, of the oceans and all the water in the world. This is a very expanded sense of what the body is. It's earth, it's water, right? Following this. And then the next one is fire or heat. We'll just sense the warmth of the body. The torso is very warm, it's radiant. Without warmth, the body does not live. And the body is producing the warmth. But it's not separate from the warmth in the environment, from the warmth of the sun, warmth of the planet. So the body is earth, water, and warmth, heat. Okay, and it's radiating out. The heat produced in this body is radiating out. It's heating the environment. Okay, so we're going to continue to define the body now. Earth, water, heat, and next one's air. So we're focusing on the sensations of the air contacting the body with the breath. And when it goes out, it just joins the air that's all around. We just sip a little bit of the passing air. And then return it. So it's just the air just sort of moves through the body. It's like the wind moves through a tree. And the body cannot exist without air. The air is all over the planet. So we're not separate from the air, the sky, the wind. Okay, so the body is earth, water, heat, air. And next one is space. There's space in the body, certainly there's space in the mind. Remember, the mind is a sense. The mind is space. Created by the brain, but mental objects appear in space. And of course, space is all around the body. It's all around the planet. It's inside the body. Every atom and molecule is made up of space. The body is not separate from space. It can't exist without space. And consciousness can't exist without space. Okay, so earth, water, heat, air, space. The sixth element is consciousness. So consciousness is what we've been using to be aware of all of these others. Consciousness is something like a basket in which all of these other elements arise. Even the planet, the galaxies, all this arises in awareness. Consciousness being individuated awareness. So that's the six. So you put them together: earth, water, heat, air, space. That's the body. Well, we don't normally think of it like that. We kind of just think of it as this fleshy thing. It's much, much, much more than that, though, isn't it? You know, this consciousness which perceives all of this, which is immediate, recognizable, is what takes form, okay? Form arises from boundlessness, and form returns to boundlessness. So let's practice this with the breath. So the in-breath, come into the awareness of the body. In-breath, feel the earth, feel the water, heat, air, feel this physical body with the in-breath. The out-breath, expand out. All this arises in consciousness, in space, spaciousness. So in-breath, coalesce, solidify. Out-breath, radiate. In-breath is birth, born into this body in this moment. These senses, out-breath, death, letting go, boundlessness. So with birth, the body coalesces, all the senses, very much here. And with the out-breath, it radiates into consciousness. In-breath comes into being. Out-breath, non-being. And this is the dance of creation and destruction, birth and death, yin and yang, gain and loss, pleasure and pain. This is the dance that turns the wheel of samsara, that turns the wheel of life. And when we're aware of all this, we're not trapped in it. Because all of this unfolds in vast awareness. And now you notice we can move our attention anywhere. We can focus on feeling, focus on sensation in the hands or in the feet or wherever. We can focus on sensation. We can focus on any of the elements. We could focus on boundlessness. There's a quality of intention here. That can place our awareness, our intention, and place our consciousness wherever we want. We can expand it beyond the universe. We can expand it infinitely. We can bring it right into the moment, right into this sitting body. We're free to choose. Now this is called, by Thich Nhat Hanh, riding the waves of birth and death. The waves of birth and death are just the breath. Riding the waves of birth and death. In the boat of compassion. On the ocean of delusion. Smiling the smile of non-fear. Riding the waves of birth and death. Feeling in breath and out breath. Riding the waves of birth and death. In the boat of compassion. Over the ocean of delusion. Smiling the smile of non-fear. And the smile of non-fear is a smile of awareness. It's the presence of awareness. Even through birth and death. Unfazed. So whenever you make this little smile, and you can do it on purpose or it just happens. You make the little smile. That's the presence in you. That's the presence of awareness. That's the smile of non-fear that rides the waves. So if we focus on the air element, in breath, we coalesce. Out breath, we disperse. Become one with the wind. Do the same with heat, earth, water, any of the elements. Let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and when you're ready, take your time. So when you're ready, go ahead and go back to standing. I'll ask you to mute yourself if you would. So as we're standing, a good way to do this is, particularly if you're just starting the practice, is to focus on the physical sensations and the alignment. And just really be in the body. Let the body be relaxed and so on. So we don't start out with a sort of an expanded state. We start out coming into the body. Because when we're lost in the thinking mind, we're neither here nor there. We're not in the body and we're not in boundlessness. We're caught in the ocean of delusion, actually. Not that there's anything wrong with thinking, but if it's just the mind running, that's the ocean of delusion. So to come out of that and just into the senses, that's huge. So let's just notice the alignment. And let's just play with this a little. So dropping the attention down to the bottoms of the feet. What does that feel like there? And now let's let go of the idea that that's coming from the bottom of the feet. It's just a sensation. We're not going to locate it or name it. Just the bare sensation. Okay, let's bring the attention somewhere. Let's say up into the belly. Belly's relaxed. And feel the belly moving with the breath. So we know that's the belly. We know it's the breath kind of moving. Now we're just going to let go of all that and just feel the sensation that arises in consciousness. It's not in the belly. It's not in your body. It's just a sensation without a name coming and going. Okay, anywhere you focus the attention in the body on sensation, it's a good practice to let go of locating it. Oh, that's my hand. Let go of that. Let go of naming it. It's just something arising in this moment. This is a good meditation practice. We won't go into it right now, but is unlabeling our senses, So instead of oh, that's the air against my throat coming and going. Oh, that's my chest expanding. We're letting go of all these explanations. Even a mental image of what it is. We can do this. This isn't. It's not hard. And just the bare sensation arising in that moment. And consciousness is a series of mind moments where something arises and is noticed. Okay, very good, very good. Let's now we're going to do a little movement here. So let's go ahead and do a backwash. Let's just do 3 backwashes in a row. And bringing the attention down the spine. And then hanging, let go of naming anything. Okay, coming back up. Now we're intentionally moving our awareness up. Okay, and then just do 1 tree and spring, moving it up. Okay, let's do another backwash. last one. Okay, the body's a little looser. So now let's move our attention from the physical body to around the body. Now, the space around the body, that's like consciousness. Okay, it's immaterial, but it's connected. The body arises in consciousness. Consciousness is made up moment to moment to moment of thoughts and sensations. Just flow through. Okay. All right. Now let's go into a little more freeing movement. So turning the body to look at the moon. It might be a little easier to let go of the commentary when we're moving. Oh, these are my hands moving through. No, no, no. Just the feeling. What feeling is arising in this moment in consciousness? This is why movement can be so freeing. We can't keep up with it. We can't keep naming it. It's just this influx of feeling. Okay. And reduce. Okay, let's do boat rowing in the stream of air and get front to back here. So this out breath. Breath is not separate from the wind. And let's reduce. Okay, and let's finish with the flying crane. So maybe you can just be the space in which this bird is flying. So be the sky. And the bird's not separate from the sky. Okay, let's return to standing. just sensations arising in consciousness moment to moment. That's what reality is. They're not yours. They're not mine. It's just coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And when you get this, you just smile a little bit. And let's take a few more breaths. Okay. All right. And let's clap our hands one time. Okay, well, thank you for your practice. If you would like to exit, slip away quietly, that's fine. If you'd like to stay for questions and comments, that's fine too. I will go ahead and stop the recording.